Welcome to day 5, the last day of the Ratios Recipe Project. I'm Miss Gross.
And I'm Miss Woods.
And we're going to do a quick recap of what you've done so far. So on Monday, you found your recipe. We found gingerbread cake. I hope you found something yummy. On Tuesday, we found what you would do if you wanted to half the recipe and what you would do if you wanted to triple the recipe. If you haven't done this yet, go back and look at Tuesday's video and do that. And on Wednesday, we served a crowd of 100 people. And so while we did that, we determined that in order to serve a crowd of 100 people, we had to take the original amounts. And our original recipe served 16, and we had to figure out what we needed to multiply that by to serve 100, and we got 6 1/4. You probably got something different. Then on Thursday, that was the fun day. We got to have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
And our kids loved it as well. So, and then we also looked and see how much each of the ingredients cost, assuming that we didn't have the ingredients on hand. However, we had quite a few of these ingredients on hand. So what we're going to do today is we're going to write the equation and we're going to reflect.
Okay, so based on your constant from Wednesday for 100 servings, write an equation. So I'm going to have Miss Gross is going to go back to the Wednesday slide. Okay, so if you see, we have our cup, our constant in proportionality, which is 6 1/4. So if we go to today's slide, our equation, which we know is always y equals kx. So our equation is going to be y equals 6, and we can either put 0.25 or 6 1/4 x, either way. And yes, Ms. Gross is putting both of them on there for us. And that is all you have to do for that. Now, don't forget, though, just because our constant of proportionality, if I can say that right, is 6.25 or 6 1/4, does not mean yours will necessarily be that. It depends on your original servings.
Absolutely. And then the next thing we want you to do is we want you to reflect on your project. What did you learn from the Ratios Recipe Project, and how can you use what you learned in the real world? So I'm thinking about the things that I learned. I learned how to scale up and down recipes. I know, like now I was able to take it half. I was able to triple it. I was able to figure out how much it was for serving. So I was able how to scale up and down recipes. I learned more about the COP, the constant of proportionality, and how to make tables. I also learned to put the COP in an equation. I also learned a little bit more about baking and how can I use what I learned in the real world. So in the real world, I will be cooking a lot. So I plan to use proportions. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and you can do that too if you're running out of room. So I plan to use proportions in order to make recipes larger or smaller. So those are a few things that I learned. I'm interested to see what you've learned.
And now we are going to go over the last thing you have to do for today before the weekend is complete Friday's exit slip. And you can see it is right there below the link. So we hope you had a good time doing something a little bit different on the project, having fun, and hopefully you got to have some fun with your family making it if that's what you chose to do. And we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.